guys, welcome back to my channel. It's me Kagem, and welcome to the second episode of my 3-episode Hermes series on the channel. If you haven't watched the first one, it's linked below. Please go check it out. I think you guys are gonna really like these videos. And yes, let's go back to what Hermes does the best, which is annoying people, okay? Annoying their clients and getting people absolutely annoyed. So if you like what I'm doing, make sure you're fully subscribed. Here we go. Okay, so let's start off with Hermes Rodeo Drive. Okay, they're really making people annoyed and angry at this boutique. So this is the story. I'll put it up on the screen so you can also read it. So she talks about basically how her husband was nice enough to buy her a present from the boutique. And he thought it was the handbag that she wanted, but obviously it was not, because this is Hermes, honey, okay? So it was not what she had hoped for. So basically, he got a 24 in orange, and then she says, what I wanted was a Birkin or a Kelly in any brown or dark brown. Baby, just say you wanted it in gold, honey, okay? That's what everyone wants, trust me. What we went to exchange, hold on, wait. When we went to exchange it to return it, they didn't refund the cash payment of almost 10K, but simply offered a store credit. There she goes again, big H on her store credit. That can only be used on store only, not online, and not outside the US. We asked about such bags and we were told that there is a wait list. A blatant lie and mockery by this salesperson. I'm glad she switched up, because it is a lie. Okay, in my Maury voice, that is a lie. Okay, I will have to come back with their names next time the next time I went there a few months later. The salesperson gets my info and puts me on his list. He said chances are slim to none. That's cold-blooded. Big H, that's cold-blooded, okay? Fast forward, it's been more than 2.5 years. We haven't been contacted, no bag is available, and I'm the bearer of a lavish store credit with no possibilities of redeeming my intended gift. If I can, I would avoid buying the brand altogether due to their sales practices and their imaginary wait list. Okay, let's talk about it. Let's unpack it. As I said, this was the Rodeo Drive boutique. This is what I think, okay? I think that at the end of the day, they knew what they were doing to her husband. And that's the thing that I find really annoying about Big H and some of the essays that work for Big H. You knew what you were doing, okay? Her husband probably knew, I want a Birkin or a Kelly, and then you sell him a 24. No one's checking for that bag, okay? Let's be clear. And the sort of undesirable bags that are not Quota bags, the Veru, by the way, I like the Veru. The Synetic, by the way, I like the Synetic. And the 24. You know, I would say the Picotin and the Mini Lindy and the Evelyn are desirable now. I feel like people do want to purchase those bags, but those 3 bags I mentioned that are not desirable, I have heard that if you buy them, you end up kind of improving your position at the boutique. Like, let's say you buy them organically. Now, the problem here is that she didn't want to buy them, okay, organically. She wasn't interested, you know, in purchasing them, and that's her right. She doesn't have to be interested in the 24. She doesn't want to. And then what's worse, they didn't even give her husband a 24 in a color that she wanted. Like she said, brown or dark brown. They gave it in orange, and we all know what Hermes orange looks like. If you don't know what Hermes orange looks like, it actually has a name. It's called fur. This is what it looks like. Let me be clear. I love bright colors, but even that is too bright for me. I would be super upset. And then the fact that she couldn't even redeem it online, I do think that's really harsh, and it's pretty, you know, it's pretty unfair in my opinion, like what they did basically there. So you know, she says how he says he's going to put her on a wait list. We know that pretty much most of the US boutiques don't operate like that. I've said before, it's really the UK stores that operate on the wait list, and even that wait list, it is determined by like how long you've been on the list and how much you've spent. You know, they do look at people who are spending. It's not like you just sit on the wait list and you wait. You know, you end up waiting for years if you haven't bought anything. They do want you to also spend money and buy things, okay? So I think it's just so crazy to me that then he tries to basically tell her something that's not true. They thought they were going to get away with giving her husband a 24 because they thought maybe his wife doesn't know like our bags and stuff and we can get away with that. And then they came back to the boutique and then they're given, you know, store credit worth $10,000. Like, okay, cool, but if someone just wants to buy like a Birkin or a Kelly, I don't really know what good that is. Now, the only thing I would say about this particular reviewer, I completely feel for her and I feel like she was treated unfairly, but I do think that you also need to, live on planet Earth. And when it comes to Hermes, we all know that there is a game. This boutique is extremely competitive. The Rodeo Drive store, lots of celebrities, lots of influencers, lots of big spenders, and a very wealthy local clientele. She should have been aware that, she herself, if she knows Hermes, she should have known better, and she should have known that there's absolutely going to be one-to-one spend. Frankly, a boutique like the Rodeo Drive store is probably going to be like even 2-to-1 or 1.5, to 1. So this idea that she's not really going to like spend money and she's going to walk in there and get a Birkin or a Kelly and just ask her husband on one go to get it, even that is hard. And we know that in general, Hermes are kind of said to be warmer and friendlier to men who go into the boutique to ask to buy things, for their fiancés or their wives, whatever, girlfriends. But even then, maybe he should have bought a shirt, or maybe he should have bought, a jacket or something from men's ready to wear, to kind of get things moving a little bit. I think it is a little bit delusional, and no disrespect to her, but it's a bit delusional thinking you can just send your husband in to a very competitive boutique and ask for a neutral Birkin or a neutral Kelly. I don't think that is you living on planet Earth. I think that's you living on planet Birkin, where we all hear these fake, stories that we hear all the time. Like, I walked into Hermes Hong Kong and I was offered a Birkin 25, in gold. No, you weren't. And that's what I'm saying. So I think also the people who go to these like really competitive boutiques, you need to live in reality and know that you're not going to get a neutral Birkin or Kelly without spend, and definitely a boutique like the Rodeo Drive one, this is not the first time I've covered this boutique. It is known for its shenanigans and its games and how it treats clients. They have a lot of big spenders. They have a lot of VIPs. I can imagine a boutique like this has VVIPs who are spending 300K a year, 200K a year. If those are the people being offered neutral bags, a walk-in is not going to be offered a neutral bag, and that's just keeping it completely real. I think it's unfair that, they didn't get back to her after 2 years. They didn't try to, maybe from this review, at least from what I can see here, they didn't try and encourage her, hey, can you buy this, buy that? And now she's stuck with 10K's worth of store credit at Hermes. And I feel like Hermes also do that on purpose, like give you the store credit to see if you can possibly be like a loyal client. And then if you're like, oh, I don't want the store credit, I don't want the store credit, they're like, cool, you're only here for a Birkin or Kelly, you're not the type of client that we want anyway. The next store we're going to talk about is Hermes Sydney, one of the most competitive Hermes boutiques in the world. Okay, so this story is also super interesting, so I'll put it up on the screen as well so you can read it. So basically she starts here and says, my sales advisor informed my friend and I that in order to purchase any bags, we have to maintain a regular relationship with the store, although we're already clients of the store. And we need to come in and be seen and spend regularly in order to be considered to be contacted when a bag becomes available. My friend had her wish in a wish list, which has been over several years, and never was she contacted for an update or an opportunity to purchase a bag. We were not offered any available options of what was currently in stock that we were able to purchase. My sales advisor then went on and insisted we come in regularly to be seen, and then we may have a chance to purchase what we want. She advised that Hermes clients are like part of our cult, and that your items are so sought after that it's like an obsession that we have to hang on to. I suggest you change/review the way you treat your clients. Does your policy stand that people need to be VVIPs to spend a certain minimum, 20,000, 30,000, I assume she means Australian dollars here, 40,000, 100,000 in order to maintain this relationship? Okay, so there's a lot to unpack here. The first thing I want to say is salute to this person, because she wrote this on Google Reviews on the Hermes Sydney page with her government name. So salute to you, because at this point, if they read that, you're like 100% be listed from the store. Okay? So salute to her for having the courage. I would not have that courage, honey, to do what she did. So there are a few things here. I think the first thing is what I understood from this was that her friend isn't spending enough money. Let's just be blunt here and call a spade a spade. read between the lines. The friend is not spending enough money for this particular boutique. The Hermes Sydney store is extremely competitive. First of all, Australia is a very wealthy country. I know I have a few Australian subscribers. Hi guys, I appreciate your support. From a business point of view, I've always known Australia for two things. First of all, Australia has a super hot property market, and Sydney as a city is known for this very, very hot property market. And second of all, Australia has a very vibrant mining industry. So you have very wealthy local clients. You then have lots of super wealthy, super rich people who are coming from mainland China, who are coming from Japan. They send their children to school in Australia, and they also do their holidays in Australia, so Sydney, Melbourne, etc. Okay, so you have all of that, and then you have tourist spend in general. Okay, that's going to be filtering through that boutique. Now, if we look at that, like I said, super rich locals, super rich Asian tourists who also maybe have a property in Sydney, maybe they have a flat there, or maybe they have a summer house there, okay, for example. And then you have general tourist spend. It's an extremely competitive store, that goes without saying. All you have to do is just, you know, go on social media, watch videos, you know what I'm talking about. The boutique is very, very competitive. You need to spend a lot of money in order to be seen at that boutique. And that is what I believe that the essay is referring to. The essay is not saying that she physically needs to be seen. What she's saying is come and be seen and spend regularly. Come and be seen and spend regularly. You're not spending enough money for you to be seen. It's like being a star in the sky. Like, which stars do we see? We see the ones that shine the brightest, okay? In order to shine brightly at Hermes, you need to spend money, okay? I know it's harsh, but it's a business at the end of the day. I don't take it that personally, but then I'm not the one who had to hear that. So I'm sure hearing that must have been extremely annoying. Okay, so then that's the first thing that I thought was really interesting. The second thing is the fact that her friend has been waiting for ages, waiting for years on a wish list, okay, and hasn't been contacted. So what I understood that to mean is the friend is not spending enough, number one. The friend isn't buying in those commission-rich categories that we talk about all the time, homewares, timepieces, fine jewelry. And so basically she's going to end up being overlooked just because there's so many VIPs, there's so many big spenders at the Hermes Sydney boutique. So you're just going to end up kind of being overlooked and ignored. I know that sounds really harsh, but I just think that's the reality of the situation at Big H at the moment. Okay. Then listen to what she says here, just to go through it one more time. She says, my sales advisor then went on and insisted we come in regularly to be seen, and we may have a chance to purchase what we want. So what the essay is saying is, guys, you're not coming in often enough. And I think what she was trying to say with that kind of phrase is, you need to buy more stuff so that you're known more, so that I can fight for you and vouch for you when it comes to going to the store manager to see which quota bags can be released to clients. So maybe she feels like she can't go to the store manager and be like, hey, I want to release a Kelly, 25 in Cray or in Nata for my client. Okay, who's this person? When's the last time they came and bought something at the store? Oh, they haven't bought anything for 9 months. That person is not going to get a bag, okay, over the person who just bought something a month ago or 2 months ago, 3 months ago, particularly in those competitive stores. I know that some of you are in places that are not competitive, so you don't have to go in, every month. And even every month to me sounds a bit like too much. Maybe, in a very competitive boutique, I feel like you need to be going like every 2-3 months to buy something in a very competitive store. But the Sydney store is extremely competitive, okay? So if you're going months and months and months and months in a very competitive store like Sydney and you haven't bought anything, and then one day you're like, oh, I want to get, a Nata Birkin or a Kelly and Cray, okay, or gold, or a tube, that's not going to happen. I know that's really harsh, but look at this review. Guys, some of you feel like, oh, where do you find these stories? I literally post them and I show them to you, okay? And some of you fight me and you're like, no, how come in my store? Okay, well, we're not talking about your store, okay? We're talking about the Rodeo Drive boutique and the Sydney store, okay? And those boutiques are completely wild to me. To me, it's completely wild the way clients are treated, and the fact that she was just told point blank, pretty much the essay is telling her, you're not spending enough money to be a big deal at this boutique. What that says to me is, if you want a Birkin quickly at the Sydney store, you need to do one-to-one spend. That's really what this review is about, and this is why I chose it, because I want to talk about one-to-one spend now. She then says, does your policy state that in order to be VIPs, in order for people to be VVIPs or spend a certain amount in order to maintain a relationship? Well, basically that's what they're saying, that you need to spend a certain amount in order to get a quota bag. I'm pretty sure that the SA will sell her a Gypsier, or will sell her a Synetic, or will sell her, the Veru, and like I even told you guys in my video yesterday that even the Veru in gold and even the Synetic in gold, those are not necessarily going to be bags that you can just walk into the boutique and get immediately. It might be a Veru in a color that, isn't like a super, super hot color that everyone wants to buy, but a Veru in gray, the Synetic in gold, like those are not necessarily going to be easy to get, but fundamentally speaking, the Veru, the Synetic, the Gypsier, the Garden Party, those are bags that should be easily available in any boutique, and even in the Sydney store, they should be available to purchase immediately without spend. The point that they're making here, without saying explicitly, is that they wanted to buy quota bags, Birkin, Kelly, Constance. They're not spending enough to even be considered, okay, for a quota bag. Now, I've told you guys before, if you're in a very competitive location, you have two options. You can either spend your way to your offer, so spend quickly in those commission-rich categories and buy the things that they like, a timepiece, a watch. I think there's like an Hermes watch I saw on the website the other day that was like 6K USD, I think it was 7K USD. You probably get an offer very quickly if you buy a watch, or a fine jewelry bracelet. You probably get an offer fast, maybe even on the day in a competitive location if you're clever about the way you ask. But not everyone has 6, 7, 8, 9K just lying around to do one-to-one spending games at Hermes. So at a more competitive location, but maybe you don't want to do one-to-one spend, you're going to have to wait it out. I do think you need to be strategic. Maybe you can wait it out, but you can buy homewares, you can buy little plates, or you can buy some cashmere, for example, or you can buy some of the silk, just little things, and you can buy some Orans throughout the year and then see how long it takes. But if you're not willing to buy the commission rich things that we talk about all the time, homewares, timepieces, ready to wear, if you're not willing to do that, you're going to have to wait out for your offer. Now, in this review, she doesn't say whether they were doing one-to-one spending. I'm guessing that they didn't, because I feel like the SA is basically telling her, you're not spending enough money and you're not spending regularly enough for me to fight for you. I think that's what she was trying to basically say, that, hey, I can't fight for you because, you're not spending enough money and it's not regular enough. And I know it's really, really harsh, but these are the harsh realities of very competitive Hermes boutiques. The Rodeo Drive boutique, the Hermes Sydney boutique. They're very, very competitive. There's some of you who are scoring bags, but your home store is not competitive. So, for example, if you live in Mexico, those boutiques they do have local VIPs, but they're not as competitive as, say, the Sydney boutique, okay? The Rodeo Drive boutique, Palo Alto in California. A lot of the super competitive American stores are in California. So Palo Alto, San Francisco, Rodeo Drive, they're very, very, very competitive. So a competitive, place is going to require one-to-one spend. I don't know how else to tell you. And I know I'm gonna get people fighting me in the comments, because every time I film these videos, there are always people saying, well, how come I, walked into this store and I didn't, whatever. Okay, well, we're not talking about that. We're talking about competitive locations. I would love to know what you guys think. Listen, in a way, I kind of feel like it was better that the SA was honest. The SA pretty much was honest with these clients in the Sydney store and said, hey, look, I'm sorry, you're not spending enough money, okay? And you need to spend more. Now, we can talk about whether we think that's right or wrong. Hermes officially will say that one-to-one spending doesn't exist. We all know it exists, particularly in Asia. We know it exists in Australia. We know it exists in many of the Asian boutiques, okay? We also know it exists in the US as well. So, and in some of the other European stores. So, I mean, let's just drop this act. I need Big H to drop this whole act, okay? And let's just be blunt and be truthful that if you're in a competitive location, you either need to play the game and be kind of strategic with your sort of pre-spend purchases, or you need to be willing to wait 1 year, 1.5 years, 2 years, maybe even 3 years for your offer. Okay, I'd really, really love to know what you guys think about the way Hermes is currently doing things. I'm super curious, and yeah, make sure that you tell me. If you're in a very competitive location, let's talk about it in the comments. The competitive locations is just the same ones that come up over and over again, like to the point where sometimes like I don't even want to tell you the news stories. I've heard lots of news stories about Palo Alto, about San Francisco. I've heard a lot of news stories about the Hong Kong boutique as well, but sometimes I feel like, oh my gosh, I'm just talking about the same stores because they're so competitive and people are struggling so hard to score there. Even the Middle Eastern boutiques, so the Dubai boutiques, the Abu Dhabi boutique as well, they're extremely competitive. I have never heard of anyone on YouTube unboxing a Birkin Kelly as a walk-in from the Middle Eastern stores. And if you have done that, I want you to allow me to bring the 2-pack hologram so I can hologram myself there and watch you get your offer. Like, even the Middle Eastern stores, they're extremely competitive. So when it comes to the competitive locations, you know what you need to do. You either play the game or you wait it out and you're patient, okay? I feel like if I was in a very competitive location, I would be doing a mixture of both. I'd probably wait it out and I would be very strategic and buy in those commission-rich categories, or use like birthdays, like for Edwin or my mom, as like a way to maybe hit spend requirements, for example. So my mom just had her birthday, I actually bought her a gift, but I didn't show you guys, but I did actually buy her a handbag. So like, I'm just saying, like, let's say that was like a, you know, an Hermes piece or something. I'll be like, okay, let me buy a watch for my mom or something, or let me buy this for her. So, and that's great because she'll get a beautiful, luxurious gift. And then you can also hit spend levels. You guys, if you like what I'm doing, you know what to do. Subscribe to my channel, hit notifications. Make sure that you also like this video. You're going to see my final Hermes video tomorrow for the week. I really hope that you enjoy it. Thank you so much for watching and supporting, and I'll see you tomorrow in the final video in the series.